Following Maculari's minutes, the English Education Act of 1835 was introduced. The decision was to make English the medium of instructions for higher education and to stop the promotion of Oriental institutions like the Calcutta, Madras, and Banaras Sanskrit College. These institutions were seen as temple of darkness, but that were falling of themselves into decay. English textbook now began to be produced for school. Next, education for commerce. Next, in 1854, the Court of Directors of the East India Company in London sent an educational dispatch to the Governor General in India. Next, issued by Charles Wood, the President of the Board of Control of the company. It has come to be known as Wood Dispatch, outlining the educational policy that was to be followed in India. Next, it efficiencies once again the practical benefit of a system of European learning is opposed to Oriental knowledge. Next, one of the practical uses that dispatch pointed to was economic European learning. It said would enable Indians to recognize the advantage that flow from the expansions of trade and commerce and make them see the importance of developing the resources of the country, introducing them to European ways of life would change their tastes and desires and create a demand of British goods for Indians would begin to appreciate and buy things that were produced in Europe. Next, Wood's dispatch also argued that European learning would improve the moral character to Indians. It would make them truthful and honest, and thus supply the company with civil servants who could be trusted and depended upon. The literature of the East was not only full of grave errors, it could also not instill in people a sense of duty and a commitment to work, nor could it develop the skills required for administrations. Next, following the 1854 dispatch, several measures were introduced by the British education departments of the government were set up to extend control over all matters regarding education. Next, steps were taken to establish a system of university education. Next, in 1857, while the Sepoys rose in revolt in Meerut and Delhi, universities were being established in Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay. Attempts were also made to bring about change within the system of school education. The argument for practical education was strongly criticized by the Christian missionaries in India in the 19th century, and the missionaries felt that education should attempt to improve the moral character of the people, and morality could be improved only through Christians education. Until 1813, the East India Company was opposed to missionary activities in India. It feared that missionary activities would provoke reaction amongst local population and make them suspicious of British presence in India, unable to establish in institution Within British contracted territories, the missionaries set up a mission and Sirapur in an area under the control of the Danish East Company. A printing press was set up in 18 at a college established in 1818. Over the 19th century, missionary schools were set up all over India after 1857. Next, however, the British government in India was reluctant on directly support missionary education. There was a feeling that any strong attack on local customers, practice, beliefs, and religious ideas might energy native opinion. Next, what happened to the local school? Next, do you have any idea of how children were taught in pre-British times? Have you ever wondered whether they went to schools, and if there were schools, what happened to these under British rule? Next, the report of William Adam. Next, in the 1830s, William Adam, a Scottish missionary, toured the districts of Bengal and Bihar. He had been asked by the company to report on the progress of education in particular school. The report Adam produced in interesting. Next, Adam found that were there our eye lack Padams in Bengal and Bihar. These were small institutions with no more than 20 students each. Next, but the total number of children being taught in these pathans was considerable, over 20 lakh. These institutions were set up by wealthy people or the local community. At times they were started by a teacher guru. Next, the system of education was a flexible. Few things that you associate with school today were present in the pathalas at the time. There were no fixed fee, no printed book, no separate school building, no bench or chairs, no blackboards, no system of separate classes, no roll call registers, no annual examination, and no regular timetable. Next, in some palace classes were held under a banyan tree. In other palaces, in the corner of a or at it, the guru's home fee depended on the income of parents. The rich had to pay more than the poor. Next, teaching was oral, and the guru decided what to teach in accordance with the needs of the students. Next, students were not separated out into different classes, all of them set together in one place. The guru interested separately with groups of children with different level of learning. Next,